friendly, welcoming expression. Clear and simple background, so the wall behind you should be very simple. It can be color, but we don't want a lot of distractions there. No sunglasses, no hats, things like that. Shirley says, should I give my CV along with my email address and mobile number to prospective clients, or is there a better way to keep my privacy? Good question, Shirley. There shouldn't be a need to give a lot of that information out. Your CV is one thing, right? It's like your resume. That should be okay. Email address, I hear a lot of freelancers who will say very soon after a relationship's gotten started, even if they're still interviewing with a client, they might share emails, or they might give the client their email address. Phone number, I don't hear that as often. And email, like I said, I hear that on occasion, but not all the time either. And the reason why is that's what the messages area is for. Okay? And when you send a note in that message room that you have, and you say, hey, client, just wanted to check in, let you know I'm making good progress on the deadline, that then gets routed to them through their email. So you don't have to share personal contact information. I don't recommend doing it right off the bat, but it's not an unheard of request. It's not a bad thing to do. Just know that there's other option which is preferred to do it through messages. The other thing is, surely, if stuff's coming to you through your email and not on the message area, if there's ever any disagreements about that, Upwork can't help it. Right? And that's the problem too. It's like if you say, well, my client had told me over email that they're going to fund escrow, so I did the work. Well, number one, you shouldn't have done it without them funding escrow in the first place. Number two, we can only take your word for it, and that's just not good enough. And there's those types of disagreements. Elisa says, I was under the impression hourly is less secure. Not at all, Elisa. They're both, if you're following the instructions that I provided here to qualify for payment protection, they're both extremely secure. In terms of secure, I'm hoping you're meaning the confidence that you're going to get paid. And they're both systems and processes are equally as secured. If you're getting paid through milestones and escrow, until that milestone is funded with escrow, you're only continuing work after escrow has been released and the next one is funded with escrow, then you're going to be in great shape. For hourly projects, if you're using the desktop app to track your time, then as long as you're doing that and communicating with your client, right? If you're using the desktop app to track your time and you have it on, but you're not doing anything productive, or you're not using your time as the client's asked you to, then maybe, yeah, if there's a disagreement with that, and if you weren't doing what you had committed yourself to do as part of the contract, then you're probably not going to get paid, nor should you. But if you're doing what your client and you agreed upon, and if you're checking with your client, like that's the other thing too, is I hear a lot of freelancers who say, well, I have an unreasonable client. I didn't know they wanted it this way. Or how can I be sure that I'm doing things like they want for this particular writing or whatever type of. Well, check with them. Right? There's no reason to wait until a deadline. There's no reason to wait until the end of the week to say, hey, was this like you wanted it? Just because you have a milestone 2 days from now doesn't mean you need to wait for 2 days to talk to your client. Send them a note. Say, hey, I have that deadline, that milestone in a couple of days for the video. I just wanted to in advance of that, show you a quick draft. Let's get your thoughts on it. Is this right? Is this the right music that you want for this background? Is this the right shade of black that you want for this logo? You should be having those communications on a regular basis with your clients, and that's really the best way to do this most effectively. Are the private comments for the freelancer or private to Upwork? And that's from Carl. Hey, Carl. So I think you're talking about the ratings at the end of a project, where a client is rating you privately, with they're giving comments and rating you privately, and then publicly they rating you. It shows up in those 5 stars. So that private feedback that they leave, you do not see. It is only for Upwork. And the reason for that, Carl, is that oftentimes what we find is people are more forthcoming, are more honest uh, when their ratings and their feedback is not going to be shown publicly. But we think both are important because we think you should get credit when that client says, "Hey, you're doing a knockout job. You're doing great. I want to commend you for this work with good public feedback." So that's why we have both, but that private feedback that they're leaving does not get shown to you. Does it make a difference where in the world a freelancer actually is located? And that's from De Silva. Desislava. No, it shouldn't. Unless it matters for the client. If that's what the client wants, they want someone who's in Eastern Europe or Southeast Asia or North America or South America. If they specified that, or that's part of what they ultimately end up saying as part of the interviews or the proposal, sure. But I work with freelancers located in Serbia, in Minnesota, in the Philippines, in Michigan. So that's one of the beauties of a platform like Upwork, is you can work with clients all over the world. Please tell us what happens if a freelancer doesn't finish the work after a first or second milestone. That's from Harold. It's going to be up to what your client thinks is okay. I would assume after if a first milestone is not completed, you're not able to do this, whether it's something else has come up, or you're finding that this is way more challenging than I thought it was. This client said they wanted a really rough sketch, but I'm now in my 4th rounds of edits for this rough sketch. I thought this would take me an hour. It's taken me, I'm already at 2 hours. Well, then this might not be the right fit. And at that point, again, it's a discussion with your client. Okay, I didn't get done what we had agreed upon. I did not get you this rough sketch, but here's how your expectations seem to have changed, or here's where I was struggling with that. Can we agree that you will pay me a partial amount of this milestone? Or you know what, I still think I should get paid the full amount, but here's why. Because it's, we talked about a rough sketch, but it really turned out into something that had 3 rounds of edits. So can you please still release that $100 in escrow? That's an option for you, is to have that negotiation with the client, that discussion, potentially refund some of that money. Then if it's just out, keep going with this project. Okay. If you can't meet that first milestone, talk to your client, agree to complete and cancel that job, and get paid for what you have done. But don't continue struggling on a project where, at the end of the day, neither of you are going to be satisfied. There's no reason to do that. Okay, folks, up against our time. I know there's a lot of questions I didn't get to, but hopefully I got to most of the main themes or main topics. I just want to take a quick moment to thank you so much for your time today, and thank you for being part of Upwork. I'm excited to see your success on the platform. I wish you all the best of luck as you get started here, and go get them. Good luck. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day, great afternoon, wherever you are.